It is the morning of July 14th, 2016. It is the day after the final half of the study at Yale and assessment. I wanted to do this last night, but I was just completely knackered after everything. I just got some dinner, laid on the couch. My folks watched some telly and passed out. Um, which, no, is not like me, but I was just exhausted. But here I am. I want to do this while my head is fresh. So anyway, first off, I have to say Kim was great with the interviews. She was very reassuring, really put me at ease a lot. I know I was dealing with a professional, so I was free to say a lot of things that I thought were otherwise, not supposed to be said. Um, so obviously, I'm not going into all of that. It's too long. I'm not going into every detail of what happened. I think there's certain confidentiality things I can't say. But anyway, the whole process, like I said in my last one of my last videos, was it really got me thinking of how the mechanisms in my mind really work. How I think all the pieces, concepts of things in my life just click together like a big clockwork machine. How concepts are connected together like points in a Black Widow spider web, and how everything else around me seems chaotic. Um, I think that illustration seemed to get my point across to her too. She had asked me what I really hope to get out of all this. The question came up again. She had different packets of questionnaires to ask me. And I said, I'm really looking for some way to move forward. That I want to connect with people better. That I think completely logically. And it's a problem for me to really connect to other people. I can give the illustration of a video game. I said, I can give good responses over years of experience of learning how to say this and not to say that. And I said, but I feel like everybody else got the software to gauge situations better. Um, so what I hope to get out of all this, autism would be great because it's one big concise diagnosis. Because it's flexible, it's a spectrum. So you can have some of these conditions and not some of these conditions and still be labeled on the spectrum. But it's one thing I can pick up and move around and get around. If it's that, well, Matt, you're this confluence of things that are wrong with you. It's like a dozen and a half. Alright, well, that's a lot of shit I gotta carry around and juggle, and oh, my ADHD's acting up this day, and oh, sorry, I'm doing my OCD thing again. And it's just a lot to get around. I'm hoping for something simpler, even if it's not autism, even if it's paranoid psychosis with delusions of grandeur. I'll take it. I did say, and a lot of people, whoever's listening, might be shocked by this, I was open to medication. I know Temple Grandin takes a small, minuscule dose of Valium to get through her day, and she's I think, a double PhD, and an architect, and all sorts of stuff. So it might become necessary. I don't know, but I'm open to it. My will to do more with my life is worth any price to me. And that was a big focus of yesterday. She even asked me, because we were talking about how I just ramble and tangent and everything else. She said, I'm going to preface this question with briefly, what is the purpose to life? I said, the purpose of life is to live a life with purpose. Of course. And I mean that. I said, but if I had to sum it all up in a simpler phrase, It's never give up, never surrender. I don't like to speak affirmative platitudes in a negative connotation by saying don't or never, but don't give up, don't give in. It is absolutely positively the only way to go. You have to just keep going, whatever it is. I mean, in business, I listen to lots of different business success gurus: Ty Lopez, Peter Sage, motivational speakers like Les Brown, Sean Stevenson. I mean, they're big inspirations for me, and they all say the same thing. All of these guys and gals, it's all, people listen to things like The Secret and say, oh, the power of visualization. Yeah, it's very important. You have to visualize your goal, and then you got to work for it. You can't just write it down in your dream journal and wait for it to happen. You really have to work at it. What's miraculous about the whole process? One of the guys actually on The Secret, he had talked about how he had set a vision board for himself, and he put this house on the vision board, this big mansion. And it was always there in his office. And one day he had moved, and his kid was going through his stuff with him, his little 5-year-old boy. And he opened the box and he looked at his old vision board, and he said he just broke down crying because on the vision board was the very house that he had moved into. He'd just forgotten about it. Now, obviously, he put in work. He, worked long hours. He made a successful business. I think he was some investor. But without realizing it, the very house that he had put on a vision board 10 years ago was the house that he had moved into. She asked me, what's next for me? What's one of my long-term goals? And I took a picture of myself in front of this house. I went to Target Rock Refuge on July 4th, and I saw this beautiful, big, beautiful mansion on this hill overlooking the refuge, facing out into Huntington Harbor. I took a couple of photos of the house. I took 2 photos with me, where I'm pointing at the house and then pointing at myself. I'm going to get those printed up. I'm going to put them up there. And I just showed her the photo, and I said, whatever I have to do, I'm getting that house. And then she asked me something interesting. She said, who's in the house with you? I said, well, Fee on the weekends. And then I showed her some model on my wallpaper. I'm like, it'd be nice if she was there. But where I go from here, I'm going to be empowered with whatever comes out of this. And that's all the rambling, all the big point I have to get across. I mean, we talked about, how I perform poorly at work because of executive dysfunction, my ability to forget how I have to do everything by ritual, otherwise things just fall out of my mind. I just drop too many things like that. But the big thing, and what I want everyone to take away from all of this, is that if you don't know, you can't get a handle on it. It's always this mystery in your head. Whether you can express it to somebody else, or whether that matters to you or not, it's irrelevant. You can't get a handle on it without a name. It's old magic. To name things, to own them, to move on them. That's what this really all is. So it's about 10 minutes, and next, if there's any significant updates between now and next week, I'll post another video. But the process was not incredibly difficult. Played some games and stuff. Just go out and do it, guys. It's not scary. Uh, if I can do it, anyone can. I'll keep everybody updated what happens next week.